Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
It looks like TikTok is done. At least this version of TikTok. There is a leak apparently that they're working on a brand new version of TikTok. They're calling it M2.
Okay, where are you getting M2 from TikTok?
I don't know, because I guess TikTok is M1. I don't know. But we're gonna talk about this because they're gonna change everything about TikTok. Now, I don't know if they're gonna import the videos. I don't know if people are gonna have their subscriber lists. I don't know. It's just been leaked, but they're talking by this fall they're gonna roll out this new version of TikTok. And again, this probably so they're not giving ByteDance in China the data. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If you're on TikTok right now and that's your primary revenue source, I'd be concerned. Wouldn't you be concerned if they're like, hey, yeah, we're gonna shut down YouTube and have TubeTube or something? It's like if we're gonna start everybody over again.
That's what they're gonna call it. Yeah, like Tick2 Talk.
Tick2. It should. Talk.
Calling M2 doesn't make any sense. Like you're not gonna get TikTok from that.
Anyway, they'll probably still call it TikTok. They'll just like internally it might be called M2. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about this. TikTok, as we've known it, is done. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to news.clownfishtv.com for more pop culture news, views, and rants. And we also have paywalled content out there. We're actually on TikTok. We don't do much with TikTok. It's probably a good thing we don't, since they're going to pull the plug on this version of it here pretty soon. But there we go. Yeah, so this actually came from The Information, which is a tech blog that we've actually cited them repeatedly. They're pretty accurate. TikTok is reportedly building a new app internally called M2 specifically for US users. According to The Information, it's set for a September launch. The current app will shut down by March of 2026, and users will have to download the new one to keep accessing the platform.
So you'll have 6 months then.
Yeah.
Okay.
This person here says going from Chinese censorship to U.S. censorship.
Basically, yeah. It So who? Okay, I'm confused. Who's going to own it then?
Well, that's the thing. Let's see if they have any more information on it here on Engadget. Okay, so U.S. TikTok users may soon have to switch to a new version of the app. Reports suggest this is part of ByteDance's efforts to comply with the country's sale or ban law. And people are calling out. They're like, hey, we're talking about Chinese censorship, but we're going to be dealing with U.S. censorship.
Right.
Here.
That's why I'm trying to figure out who owns it.
We don't know. I mean, I know that they were talking before the president was like, oh, we're going to own, the U.S. is going to own part of it, or he's going to give it to his friends or something. I'm like, oh my God, this is a mess. Okay, so ByteDance is said to be building a new U.S. only version of the TikTok app. It's going to release on September 5th. The company is moving ahead with this plan to comply with legislation requiring it to sell TikTok in the U.S. or face a nationwide ban. So they either have to do this or they have to shut it down. Everybody thought that there's a reprieve, right?
So they're building a separate app.
Yes.
Okay, wait. Okay, let me get this straight. So the Chinese company that built the first app is building a second app to give to America, and you're supposed to believe that they don't have any access to the information. I mean, am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah. The reports.
Okay. Sure. Wake.
Sure.
Okay.
We don't. The report suggests that folks in the U.S. will have to switch to the new app dubbed M2 in order to keep using TikTok. It said that ByteDance will remove the existing TikTok app, which the company calls M, from U.S. app stores when the new one debuts. It's believed that the current version of the app will stop working in the U.S. next March, but that timeline may shift. I am wondering what is going to happen to, because if the biggest point of contention was user data, right? Mm-hmm. Do we just delete everybody and everybody starts at ground zero? These people that have like 10 million TikTok followers, or they just get be like, yep, we're all starting over again. Sorry.
Well, so I think they're going to call it TikTok here, and they're just going to leave the name TikTok.
They'll just call it TikTok because people know TikTok.
I get that now. I was very confused, but okay. So M1 is the Chinese version. M2 is TikTok America. I got it.
Yeah.
But what is going to happen? Because I would assume you should be able to shift. But then if you have a bunch of accounts that are tied to the to other countries that aren't shifting with it. I don't know. That's
the thing. I have no idea. I think it's going to be absolute chaos. I don't think it's going to be a smooth transition because it wasn't designed that way. But beyond that, like I heard before that when they get rid of TikTok in the US, or if they were going to get rid of it or sell it or whatever, the algorithm.
I was going to say, does that come with it this time?
No.
If they're, yeah. So I'm like, I don't.
So everybody's going to go to YouTube Shorts. Actually, a lot of people are already going to YouTube Shorts.
ByteDance is doing it, but who owns this when it comes to the US? Because they said they're not allowed to own it, but they're the ones making it. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you make it? Okay, this doesn't make sense to me. Why would you make M2 if you have no ownership of it? Like, what's in it for you? You're selling it apparently. So, but you don't have the algorithm. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay. So here's where it gets even more complicated. They said this is the latest development
more complicated
in a long-running saga over the future of TikTok in the US. A lot of former President Joe Biden, at least they're calling out, was Joe Biden that signed last year, gave ByteDance a deadline of January 19th to sell TikTok or face a ban in the country. Trump took office in January and swiftly paused enforcement of the law. He has delayed it twice more since then. As things stand, the ban is set to take effect on September 17th. In June, Trump said there was a buyer in place for TikTok's U.S. operations.
Okay,
he claimed that a group of very wealthy people is set to buy the app.
See, okay, that's what I'm mad about. You're going to do a thing in the U.S. Your ByteDance already is building it because they have a buyer, but you're not telling us who the buyer is. And that makes me very nervous. Why are you not telling people who the buyer is? I mean, why are we hiding this? Who the buyers are, I guess, in this case. Who are the very wealthy people that are going to own this? And my next question is, if they have ties to the different things, how do you know that they're not going to just sell your information? You're on social media with Facebook and all that and found out that they were, selling your information, targeting you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why we can't have the Chinese app because they get our information, but now that's okay because they're rich people, they're rich American people.
Is his new buddies over at Apple? Is it Tim Cook? Did Apple buy TikTok?
I don't know. The fact that they're not telling you.
Yeah.
Why is it a secret? Why can't you say, oh, hey, it's going to launch in September. It's going to be owned by these people.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
It's
a little weird. Yeah, there's a lot of things about the TikTok, this whole deal. I think what's going to happen though is I personally think it's going to wind up being so different from the TikTok that everybody knows that people are just going to abandon it anyway.
Probably.
It's probably not going to be Elon because Elon doesn't like Trump very much anymore. But why is the president deciding?
Yeah, that's the other question. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, why is it like any president? I don't care which. Why does the president get to decide who gets to own this social media app?
Right?
Isn't that what China does? Groups. I mean, that's what China does, right?
There were several different groups that were interested. So who gets? Wouldn't it be up to ByteDance who they wanted to sell to?
No,
because it's about information, and they're going to make that information in quotes, and then you have to sell to people they approve. But meanwhile, other social media platforms got in trouble for selling your information too.
Yeah. So he said, about 2 weeks. They said June 13th. Obviously, it's supposed to be July 13th. Trump added the deal would likely need approval from the Chinese government. He's not confident of getting it rubber stamped in time, probably because of the trade negotiations. Chinese government is dodging questions on it. I don't think they have any more information. Basically, nobody knows. They're basically just building it.
So what I'm hearing is we're doing it TikTok 2. M2. And it's their ByteDance who was in trouble to begin with for taking information, the ones building it, but you're supposed to trust that they aren't taking information again as they sell it to unnamed rich American people that Trump approved to own the company, but you're not allowed to know who. I'm hearing a lot of question marks here.
Yeah, it sounds to me like look, do I believe that data was getting leaked to China? Yes, I think that's
I do too.
That is true of every mobile app that has, it's based in China. Hell, it's probably true of, NetEase games or anything like that. Right. But why TikTok specifically? And it's almost like they're like, oh, this is a powerful information platform. Now the US government has to control it. It's just, it's a little weird.
I don't think the government should be in charge of any of that kind of stuff, but that, because that's questionable. But at the end of the day, we don't know anything. We just know ByteDance is building another one. ByteDance is selling it to a customer they already have, and you're gonna maybe get your data, maybe not. I mean, as far as like your subscribers and stuff, we don't even know that yet.
Yeah,
trust us, bro. That's all I'm hearing. Like,
yeah,
So all we know is ByteDance is building M2 and selling it to somebody that we're not being told who.
But they're saying the Chinese government may not agree to it anyway. They might just be like, "Yep, you're just shutting it down." Like,
then you shut it down, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, it's oh my God, less brain rot, guys. What are we gonna do?
I don't know what else to do here. I mean, like, somebody should make a TikTok something similar in the U.S. and just base it here. I don't know.
I mean, look, these platforms come and go. This is a thing too, and this is we've talked about this before. Like, the internet changes. Remember when Vine was like
it's Vine all over again.
Vine was such a huge thing, and it was like people were making their livelihoods on Vine, and then
Vine talk and call it a day.
Yeah, it just disappeared, and then everybody went to YouTube. And now TikTok is looking at possibly disappearing. Snapchat was a thing for a while, and now nobody cares.
No, they still use it, but
not like they did though.
TikTok was basically Vine, so it'll be something else that's Vine and TikTok combined in the next iteration, and someone will come up with it.
Well, what's going to happen is everybody's going to flood. They already are. They're over on YouTube, and then they basically just change the algorithm so it's all shorts.
Yeah, the problem with and YouTube loves it because they get to keep all the money.
They get to keep all the money. Yes, the monetization revenue split is different for shorts than it is for long form videos. So I suspect strongly that they're pushing shorts over long form videos because they get to keep all the money, like you said. And a lot of the ads that are on YouTube now are actually mobile friendly ads. So like an ad view is an ad view, and they're getting paid either way, but they basically give creators whatever they feel like giving them. Compared to like, oh, it's a definite split. So they made a new deal just for shorts, and then they're pushing shorts over long form stuff, and which is pretty scuzzy. So
again, like I'm gonna say, it's all great until people stop giving you content, and then what are you gonna do? So there you go.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we don't know jack shit. Just that there's an M2 and ByteDance is making it, and it's supposed to start in September, and somebody owns it. Nebulous Group. That's what we've learned.
Not a good time to bet your livelihood on TikTok. Let's just put it that way. We're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
And bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.